WCAB News. I'm Mike Riley. Paul Manafort's right-hand man is expected to testify today at Manafort's financial fraud trial. Details from CBS News' Anne-Marie Green.
Manafort's longtime associate, Rick Gates, has been cooperating with Robert Mueller's investigation after accepting a plea deal. Gates also served in a senior role on the Trump campaign. He's admitted to 2 felony charges. On Friday, one of Manafort's tax preparers admitted she helped disguise $900,000 in foreign income to reduce Manafort's tax burden.
Deputies in Monroe near Charlotte say they're on the lookout for a teenager who robbed a 9-year-old's lemonade stand at gunpoint. Union County Sheriff's Department spokesman Tony Underwood tells WSOC News he's never heard of anything like this.
I've never heard of a lemonade stand robbery. I think people are capable of a lot of things, but not robbing a child at a lemonade stand. That one takes it to a new level.
2 people died on Sunday morning in Raleigh in a fiery crash. 2 cars were involved and 1 car caught fire, resulting in the death of the driver and 1 other person inside. 3 passengers in the second car were transported to Wake Med in Raleigh with non-life-threatening injuries. The search continues for 5 people on a sightseeing plane that crashed inside Denali National Park on Saturday evening. The pilot reported on his satellite phone Saturday that there were injuries. Catherine Belger is with the National Park Service and says the search is made harder because the weather was making visibility hard.
Unfortunately, it's 0 visibility and very low cloud cover, so our search crews have been unable to visually locate the crash site. We know approximately where it is, but we just haven't been able to put eyes on it.
The coast of North Carolina has now set a record in terms of rainfall. Flooding is a major concern in Brunswick County. Southport resident Tommy Smith tells WWAY News.
All the way down this street, as far as you go, till you get up to the cemetery, just about is everybody's got a little water standing.
You're listening to NCN News.
This Fraud Watch Alert is brought to you by AARP North Carolina. Recently, sham veterans charities are bilking patriotic donors out of millions of dollars. North Carolina fraud fighters urge you to donate wisely. Before you give, visit ncsos.gov to make sure a charity that claims to support veterans and military families is licensed and legitimate. Learn more about charity scams and other cons by signing up for free AARP Watchdog Alerts at aarp.org/NC Protect. Hey football fans, the wait is over. The 2018 ACC Football Preview Magazine is out on newsstands right now. Get your football fix before the season kicks off with predictions from the experts, recruiting news, and rankings of the best ACC players and teams. No other magazine dedicates 10 pages to each ACC school, each jam-packed with stats and information. Want a copy shipped to you? Order your copy today by going to accsports.com and clicking on the Football Preview banner.
Activists in the heart of North Carolina's pork country say contract hog farmers and their neighbors should start talking about solutions. The Herald-Sun of Durham reports that community organizers in Duplin County called for dialogue on Saturday after a federal jury again decided pork giant Smithfield Foods is responsible for millions of dollars in damage linked to industrial-scale hog farms. Hiroshima marks the 73rd anniversary of its destruction by an atomic bombing. 140,000 people were killed. Reporter Lucy Kraft is in Tokyo. She says despite the recent pledge to denuclearize the Korean Peninsula, officials expressed alarm that major countries aren't doing enough to prevent another tragedy.
A tolling bell marked the moment when the A-bomb exploded over Hiroshima early on August 6, 1945. 50,000 elderly survivors and family members joined in a moment of silence. Lucy Kraft, CBS News, Tokyo.
Amid rising costs associated with new tariffs, a North Carolina community newspaper has announced a reduction in its print schedule. The Salisbury Post will print 5 days a week starting August 11th, ceasing print publications on Mondays and Saturdays. The newspaper says its Monday and Saturday print editions were its least profitable. In entertainment news, CBS News' Diane King Hall reports Tom Cruise topped the movie box office for the second week in a row.
You had a terrible choice to make in Berlin. One life over millions.
Mission Impossible Fallout, the 6th installment of the series, has brought in an estimated $35 million in ticket sales its second week out. Disney's live-action revival, Christopher Robin, was second in its debut week, followed by the action comedy The Spy Who Dumped Me.
Mike Rayleigh, NCN News.
AM 590 WCAB Rutherfordton with FM translator service on W265DW at 100.9.
ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. President Trump tweeting about the meeting that his son, Don Jr., held with a Russian lawyer during the campaign at Trump Tower. ABC's Tara Palmieri says the president tweets the meeting was about one thing:
to get dirt on Hillary Clinton. Tweeting, "This was a meeting to get information on an opponent. Totally legal and done all the time in politics, and it went nowhere. I did not know about it." But ABC News has learned Trump's former fixer Michael Cohen says then candidate Trump did know in advance about the meeting.
Kentucky Senator Rand Paul is in Moscow this morning.
So I've traveled here to say that there are many Americans who want to have diplomacy, that want to have engagement. I'm one of them.
Saying he is inviting Russian lawmakers to visit Washington, but he wouldn't say if he raised the issue of meddling in American elections. The trial of the president's former campaign chair, Paul Manafort, continues today. Here's ABC's Ali Rogan.
The week ended with prosecutors about halfway through their list of 35 witnesses. They heard from former Manafort colleagues as well as from vendors who made Manafort's bespoke suits, did elaborate landscaping, and installed custom entertainment systems.
American sanctions on Iran return today.
The Iran nuclear deal brokered by President Obama lifted these sanctions, but today the first round of sanctions against Iran snapped back into place 90 days after President Trump withdrew from the agreement. The reimposed sanctions include those on Iran buying or acquiring U.S. dollars and trading gold and other precious metals.
ABC's Arlette Saenz. At least 91 people are dead after a strong earthquake has hit Indonesia. ABC's Tom Rivers is at the foreign desk.
The quake struck with sudden, strong power on the island of Lombok. This local recalls,
"People were shouting, 'Get out, get out.' I ran from the house in the dark because the electricity was down."
Damage on the north side described as massive.
In Chicago, at least 10 people are dead, dozens more hurt after a weekend of gun violence. You're listening to ABC News.
When our health insurance renewal notice arrived last fall, my wife and I made the decision to drop our plan. With the monthly premiums and deductible, we'd have to pay $30,000 just to use it. So we did our homework and switched to MediShare. The cost savings are incredible, over $500 a month, and we don't have to pay for services we don't need or don't agree with. Then, out of the blue, she had to have emergency surgery. Scary stuff. $150,000 in hospital bills, and MediShare members took care of everything. All we paid was our small portion. I'm a doctor who's been in healthcare for 20 years, and this is one of the most impressive programs I've ever seen. Thank God she's fully recovered, and now we're telling everyone about MediShare.
Call 877-26-BIBLE to find out how much you can save on your healthcare. MediShare. Call 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE.
Investigators in Venezuela are looking for more suspects after they say someone tried to kill President Nicolas Maduro with drones packed with bombs. ABC's Matt Gutman.
The Maduro government has blamed not only rightist elements who've been trying to topple him inside Venezuela for years, but also outside nations, including Colombia and the United States, alleging that if this coup attempt was actually real, that it was in some way set off in Miami. We have nothing to corroborate that, and the U.S. government clearly denies any role in this alleged attempt.
Wildfires in California are forcing officials to keep large parts of Yosemite National Park closed. ABC's Alex Stone has the latest.
As firefighters arrive here in California this week from New Zealand and Australia to help out, rangers at Yosemite National Park have announced big chunks of that park will remain closed indefinitely because of the Ferguson fire, which has been burning near the park for weeks. The fire has killed 2 firefighters. It's disrupted park activities. When much of the park will reopen is now unknown. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Saying goodbye to Mrs. Garrett.
Take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life.
Actress Charlotte Rae, who starred in The Facts of Life and Different Strokes before that, has died. She was 92. Charlotte Rae was diagnosed last year with bone cancer. This is ABC News.
Oil and gas investments involve a high degree of risk and are suitable only for qualified SEC-accredited investors. If you're an SEC-defined accredited investor getting ready to do your taxes and wish you had more deductions, you can take action now and start planning for 2018 with a 100% IRS-approved deduction. Invest with Encore Energy. If you're a high-net-worth SEC-defined accredited investor who's interested in participating directly with a proven operator and are qualified to make an investment of at least $250,000, then please call Encore Energy. 800-803-8511. 800-803-8511.
I'm Sherry Preston, ABC News.
Well, with springtime here, head on over to Oakland Feed and Seed for the things you need. Things like grass seed and garden seed, 10-10-10 fertilizer and 17-17-17 fertilizer. Oakland Feed and Seed carries Kentucky 31 and Rebel Turf and 5-star blend grass seed. That'll look good, won't it? They'll weigh up garden seed by the ounce or by the pound. How much do you need? They'll weigh up grass seed by the pound. Whatever your needs are, Scott and his team at Oakland Feed and Seed will try their best to do it for you. Need strong weed killer? Get it by the quart, gallon, and this kills all. 2.5 gallons is only $49.99. Get rid of them quick. That fish box, 100 count, $19.99. Why don't you come check Oakland Feed and Seed out and check prices? All your animal health needs, from dog shots to wormers. And don't forget to pick up some fire ant control, too. They have what you need at Oakland Feed and Seed, Oakland Road, Spindale, locally owned and locally run.
Even though we have weak high pressure sitting upon us that's going to bring bigger heat later this afternoon, it's not going to inhibit every thunderstorm from forming. There could be a few isolated ones later today. Our high in the low 90s. Perhaps an evening shower, then dry overnight tonight. Partly cloudy with the low in the low 70s. And then tomorrow, a little better chance for some afternoon and evening storms. It's still hot, though. It's still humid. The high temperature in the low 90s. Still hot for the day Wednesday with a chance for storms. I'm Mike Mays in the North Carolina News Network Weather Center.
Thanks very much, Mike Mace. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday. This is the 6th day of August, 6 minutes after 6, and we're starting out cloudy this morning, and it's 70 degrees, warming up to about 89 here in the foothills for the heat index around 95, with little precipitation possibilities later this afternoon, about 40%. Now, that diminishes as the week unfolds. And by Thursday, it looks only about 30% chance, and back up and down to 50 to 40. So it's going to be those afternoon type things that pop up in the afternoon. Get passing shower like we got yesterday afternoon, and it'll probably be some of those the rest of the week. But let's enjoy and embrace the day. It's going to be another great getting up morning here in the foothills, and it's 70 degrees. Now I have these death announcements this morning. David C. Trammell, age 86, passed away Saturday at Oak Grove Health Care Center after an extended illness. Funeral services will be held at 2 p.m. Tuesday, August 7th at Mount Vernon Baptist Church, with Dr. Scott Courtney officiating. Burial will follow in the church cemetery with military honors provided by the Rutherford County Veterans Honor Guard. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to the service. Crow's Mortuary is assisting the family of David C. Trammell. Max G. Alexander, age 88, of Caroline, passed away Saturday at Hospice of Rutherford County. The funeral service will be conducted at 11 o'clock Wednesday at Holy Ground Community Baptist Church on Withrow Road, with Pastor Ed Ellison officiating. Burial will follow in Rutherford County Memorial Cemetery, with military honors being rendered by the Rutherford County Honor Guard. Family will receive friends from 6 until 8 p.m. Tuesday at Harrelson Funeral Home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services has been entrusted with the arrangements for Max Alexander. Mr. Randy Dean Robbins, 62, of Ellenboro, died Saturday, August 4th. Those arrangements are incomplete and will be announced by Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Services. And again, that's Mr. Randy Dean Robbins. Jasper Hal Davis, age 75, of Rutherfordton, died Thursday at Baylor Hospice in Charles George VA Medical Center in Nashville. A celebration of life service will be at McMahon's Funeral Home Chapel at 1 o'clock today, with Reverend Dean Baum officiating and military honors provided by the Rutherford County Honor Guard. Burial will be private for the family. The family will receive friends following the service at McMahon's. McMahon's Funeral Home and Cremation Services in charge of the arrangements for Jasper Hal Davis. Mrs. Mary Alice Fuller, 85, of U.S. Highway 221, Rutherfordton, died Wednesday, August 1st at White Oak Manor. Funeral services will be held on Tuesday, August 7th at 2 p.m. at Gold Hill Baptist Church, with Pastor Henry Kearns delivering the message. The body will line stay 1 hour prior to the service. Family and friends will gather at the home of Carolyn and Calvin Miller. Again, that's Mrs. Mary Alice Fuller. Those are the death announcements we have this morning in the house. If you want to get the complete information on these, tune in this morning at 11:35. And then again at 5:10 this afternoon, as part of the afternoon report, we have the complete information on the death announcements. We're happy to give to you as a public service here of WCAB. Stand by. The Rush Limbaugh Morning Update is coming up right now.
Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and other leftists are using as the centerpiece of their progressive agenda. Well, George Mason University just released a study that puts a price tag on Medicare for all. Now, grab a chair or grab your ankles, either one, because over 10 years, this pipe dream program will increase federal spending by $32 trillion. That's trillion with a T. Now, if history has taught us one thing, it's this. All federal spending projections are wrong. They're always low. The cost will always be higher, much higher. Something else history has taught us. When liberals get what they want, it's never enough. They always want more. They're never happy. Medicare for all is their starting point, and the cost of guaranteed income for everybody's next, and the cost of sanctuary city money pits, and the cost of climate change hoax taxes. And don't forget the cost of decimating the military again, and the cost of eliminating more of our freedoms. The cost of buying into these progressive dream schemes is a grim future, a bankrupt America, and a bankrupt American dream. Do not buy it. Don't fall for it. Do not be seduced by it.
Hey guys, pardon the advertising interruption to your radio program. Do yourself a favor and please listen carefully. If you have tried or wanted to try Viagra or other male prescriptions in the last few years, you need to hear about Noxitril, the super pill that will transform your performance in the bedroom forever. You see, Noxitril has been formulated and developed in U.S. FDA labs, and it's the real deal. Noxitril works, period. Strong, explosive results that increase blood flow fast. And best of all, there are no side effects like prescription meds. After years of research, the developers of Noxitril got it right. This remarkable pill is off the charts. Right now, we encourage you to take advantage of our incredible free bottle offer. So what are you waiting for? Noxitril. It's that good.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 1-800-605-1673. That's 800-605-1673. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-605-1673. That's 800-605-1673.
Stay informed with the best in election coverage all year. North Carolina Network News, ABC Radio News, and local coverage here on the most information for the foothills. WCAB, Rutherfordton.
Recovery from mental and substance use disorders is real. You can recover. It's possible. It happens every day.
Never give up on yourself.
Discover hope and help.
I thought I was too far gone. I wasn't.
Join the Voices for Recovery.
The world is a beautiful place again.
For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral for mental and substance use disorders for you or someone you know, call 1-800-662-HELP. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Get ready for those hot summer months driving with a stop at RS Speedy Lube, Railroad Avenue. The Express Inspection Station gets you back on the road and keeps you legal. Speedy Lube has 2 lanes to serve you, gets you in and out in no time, and vacuum your car while the oil is being changed, air conditioner checked, transmission flushed, wiper blades replaced if needed, even a top-of-the-line car wash, all at RS Speedy Lube and Inspection Station, Railroad Avenue in Ruth. Take care of that car and have a safe trip.
Well, discover Henson Building Material again, will you? If you haven't been in a long, long time, you'll recognize they've grown over there over the years. They got a great, stellar history here in Rutherford County. Started out as a sawmill back in 1938, and they've grown, evolved through the needs of a changing community. And you'll find your needs can be met there at Henson Building Material. Everything from cabinets, kitchen cabinets, to fixtures, to cleaning supplies to plumbing needs, power tools, electrical tools, door hardware, much, much more. Traeger grills, Georgia boots. Why don't you stop by Henson Building Material yourself? If you're a professional, then you know Henson Building Materials can give you a great deal. If you're an amateur just beginning to learn how to fix up around the house, then you need some expert suggestions. They'll treat you right at Henson Building Material. Duke Street, Forest City, more than just a lumberyard. Open 7:30 to 5 Monday through Friday, 8 to 12 on Saturday. Henson Building Material, they'd love to have you come by.
On August 10, 1883, a stage carrying more than $3,000 in gold, silver, and currency was headed for Globe, Arizona. Heads stepped out from the tree, got the strong box on the ground faster than a mathematician can count. They left behind $620 in the strong box. But that was not all they left behind. A pair of their saddlebags, a full cartridge belt, was found on the ground. While getting away, they left a trail that screamed out, "They went this-a-way." Residents of a nearby town, sure the riders were headed for us, who had IQs.
Good, how you doing, Jim? People incarcerated. Felony larceny and damage for Cadillac Coupe de Ville where they can enter in a motor vehicle. Damage and assault on a female. Willis Henson from Highway 221 South reported a felony larceny. It was larceny of a Murray riding lawnmower. Terry Caldwell from Evans Drive out of Jacksonville Beach, Florida, reported a felony larceny that occurred on Rabbit Moffett Road in Rutherford. Items taken were McDaniel from McDade Road in Forest City reported a breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering. And it looks like some vehicle tires were taken in that incident. On our arrest reports, Lamontre Taylor was Alicia McSwain was served with failure to appear on misdemeanor and also charged with misdemeanor possession of a Schedule 6 controlled controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia. Received a written promise to appear in court. Lisa Holland from Long Branch Road in Forest City was served with a warrant for first-degree trespass. Received a $1,500 secured bond by prisoner and aggravated.
Keep up the good work and be safe.
Like to make decisions based on service and saving.
43 mold remediation estimate 287 honest, dependable, and on-time service.
Here's Carrie now with the report from the Communications Center. Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's on your report?
In the past 48 hours, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 700. You had 77.
Yes.
I've got Joan Epley. They have a nice day.
It's family-owned. Sisk Ford can put you into the car you want with a payment plan you can appreciate. If it's a truck you want, each and every sale that they...
Take the kids over there. Take the grandkids to Stick Candy over right here in Rutherford County between Boston and Sachs from Rumbling Balls. With they come run every week, don't they?
Yeah, they do, don't they? It was a busy weekend here. Had several power lines affected by trees. One tree almost hanging on a thread almost hit a house, but we were able to move it in time on Grandview Drive. So that was yesterday, so we had to call out our emergency team on Sunday to get that done. Had 5.5 inches of rain during that rain event.
Wow.
So, we down all over the place, it seems. Business work for Ingalls and Lake Lure all the way to here.
Balance between emotional, spiritual.
Try their delicious subs. Grill on Gregory's for all your catering needs.
Low Fire District. Bob, good morning. 30 minutes or so.
Looked like it'll be a nice call. Didn't have any fire Friday morning, but I couldn't get nothing but static there. So
Well, we're down, Bob. It's some of the equipment they mailed to, waiting on that shipment to arrive when we get back up again. Well, the Braves had a pretty...
To introduce new styles of Spring Recliner Center, and now's the best time to go to Shore Center to offer you the best choices and the Recliner Center on Cooper's Gap Road.
Right here in the foothills in the Carolinas, and many of you right here in Rutherford County in the Tri-City area that are satisfied Miracle Ear owners. She gives that a free hearing test and walks you through your questions that you might have about a hearing instrument. They got so many choices there that you'll be pleased with. That's a Miracle Ear Genius 2.0. I know. Ask Lisa about that when you're ready for a positive change in your hearing. Forest City office is located at 1512 West Main Street, Suite 102. That phone number is 828-368-4126. Miracle Ear, A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau. Sue Price is on the radio with me right now. Give us a report from the Cherry Mountain Fire District. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning. We went up to early Mass. We didn't do a whole lot over the weekend, but we had a good weekend, and hope you did.
Yes, indeed.
Got 71 degrees. Got hot yesterday. Apartment don't have any birth. August the 10th at 7 o'clock. Today, August the 18th, there's a top. Adults are $10. So how, Jim? It's just quiet and calm.
Offers adults a safe and fun plan. That's 288-1612. That's Rutherford Life Care. The flooring and expert in 20 years, and they strive to. They'll do your big house. You'll be pleased to make these folks.
Morning, how are you on this magnet?
I try my best with all the passing showers.
Yeah, well, we it's Saturday morning.
Sometimes.
Yeah, it is. It just on the news.
Well, it's so dry out there. Just eat a little.
I believe it was somebody had a chain.
I understand these folks that flip cigarettes out the window.
I don't have anything on Round Hill. 6 p.m. at the Union Mills Learning, and you can pay at the door. Or at 7 a.m. and goes to 10. That'll be this Saturday at 11. Adults $6, kids 6 to 12, $3. Build the Old Gilkey School. And coming up on Sunday, August the 19th, 12:30 p.m. This will be at Round Hill Baptist Church Fellowship Hall on Hudlow Road in Union. That's exactly right.
The area's leading plumbing firm.
Customer for life.
I love the price. You base your morning schedule based on what...
The fire department, they had 3 calls. Have a great day to enjoy.
On this Monday morning, which is the 6th of 6. Well, 37 years, the Drop-In has been serving Rutherford County with fully stocked aisles, great selections of merchandise. The Drop-In is yummy, good stuff. And Farmer's Friend, Feed Seed and Supply of Harris, being this third. We'll find out who's going to...
Cultivated, then spread around in liberal in the process. Laughter can attract folks to them like flowers attract bees. We did before we talked to them. Cheerful Heart has a continual feast. Add 1 cup of a full body. 888-333.
Donuts this morning from Granny B. Coming up next hour on this program at 8:30.
Standing alone.
5 people are dead when a twin-engine
firm that was based in northern
said he's concerned such lawsuit points trying to reach the Lombok. CN News.
Service and local agents.
Thanks for Bobby Allison. This is like Bullhead Island. That according
on 2 different sitcoms.
Sorry, Judy. I really am.
Research shows more seniors are run
from just over 1 in 1,000 to 1.
Officials say there's lots to see. And
guy Dale Chihuly did these.
Detectives in Georgia that said are now back in place today. The same.
So far, we know 91 people have been killed.
Long-term ceasefire in Gaza that fix inside Gaza, but it will also
12 years leading the company. I held a BB gun to his stomach and ran off with all.
Work with your existing hardware. Start your Zoom video conferencing.
Railroad Avenue in refreshing ice cream. Come early and enjoy a delicious Big Express breakfast. Everything is made to order fresh day. James Railroad Express.
The special.
Day and Wednesday as well. Now, we come highs in the low 90s, maybe an evening. Carolina News Network Weather Center.
The sun is breaking through the clouds this morning. We have sun out there and 72 degrees, warming up to 89. Heat index today around 95, so it's going to be hot and humid. And then the rain, of course, kicks in this afternoon for a little shower. About a 40% chance of that. We have that off and on all week. Diminishes a little bit by Thursday. Looks like on Saturday next week, another 50-50 chance. Light chance of precipitation on. We'll go check in with Terry Thomas and find out where.
This will be working 3 years of cashier experience. And once again, these jobs will lineman, overhead lineman position experience. And we also have experience, and you must have a high school. Jobs in the Forest City area, we have a diesel mechanic. This is working on tractors. You must have at least 3 months experience. We also have an occupational therapist position. This requires at least 1 year experience, and you must be licensed in the state of North Carolina. Have a doctorate degree available at the Rutherford County NC Works Career Center. We are located at 223 Charlotte Road.
The Americans with the investment of $156 million. It began operating in May of 24 there and fully operational in 2019. The NACS, Spartanburg County. They say Robertson closing for a period of time. It'll be close to the and mudslides along roads and trails. The Carolina Department of Transportation crews from Rutherford County will work to rebuild the road beginning on August 6th. Work is expected to last at least Broad River Sunday morning in Asheville. The 3 people were rescued from an area on the river just downstream from I-26 bridge, according to the department. You probably know where that is. The Asheville Fire Department says the rescue was one of several over the last several days. They are recommending anyone who is not a skilled boater to stay off of particularly dangerous from the river, but he later spotting the bars over its North Carolina Wildlife Resources and cars and trash bins have been the region's human population has increased. Chicken nuggets spilled in Tennessee. Cook County Emergency Management Agency.
Need some extra money in your pocket?
Savings on everything in the store. Chops, roast, cut fresh daily. Check out Jay's on Facebook for daily specials.
Area, and even better, located at 162 Commercial Drive in Forest City, just behind Big Dave's Restaurant. To schedule an appointment, call Rutherford Children's Care at 828-28.
Forest City. Come see me for all your vacation needs, including sunscreen, sun hats, sunglasses, bug spray, and stylish summer clothing. I'm excited to tell you we have new summer sandals and booties. See you soon.
Here now is Officer King. He's with the Sheriff's Department. He gave us a report from the weekend, and here it is.
In the past 48 hours, the Sheriff's Department responded to 217 calls for service. There were 18 arrests processed in the jail, and the jail currently has 197 people incarcerated. On our incident, vehicle and felony larceny were stolen. James Beaver from Geddes Road in Ellenboro reported an injury to personal property and break and enter in a motor vehicle. Damage was to a 2007 Jeep Wrangler. Lisa Logan from Whitesides Road in Rutherford reported an assault on a female. Thomas Ray from Hudlow Road in Forest City reported a felony larceny. It was a larceny of a Yamaha dirt bike. Larceny that occurred on Rabbit Moffett Road in Rutherford. Items taken were a trail camera, a truck toolbox, a finishing mower, and miscellaneous hand tools. And a Donald McDaniel from McDade Road in Forest City reported a breaking and entering and larceny after breaking and entering. And it looks like some vehicle tires were taken in that incident. On our arrest reports, Lamontre Taylor from Trailwood Drive in Forest City was served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $1,000 secured bond. Joshua Barden from East Park Road in Ellenboro was charged with simple possession of a Schedule 4 controlled substance and also served with a failure to appear on misdemeanor, received a $1,000 secured bond. Alicia McSwain was served with failure to appear on misdemeanor and also charged with misdemeanor possession of a Schedule 6 controlled substance, received a $500 secured bond. Latoya Archer from Maryland Drive in Spindale was charged with misdemeanor possession of a Schedule 6 controlled substance and possession of drug paraphernalia, received a written promise to appear in court. Lisa Holland from Long Branch Road in Forest City was served with a warrant for first-degree trespass, received a $1,500 secured bond. Malik Freeman from Weaver Road in Shelby was charged with misdemeanor possession of a Schedule 6 controlled substance, received a $500 secured bond. Wendy Hip from Elms Drive in Forest City was served with a failure to appear on a misdemeanor. Road in Rutherford was charged with possession of firearm by a felon, possession of drug paraphernalia, and misdemeanor child abuse. And he
Sports, I'm Josh Zach. Chase race while the rest of the field was more than 11 by capturing the Bridgestone Invitational. Buffalo Bills coach Sean McDermott is not happy that wide receiver Kelvin Benjamin in a recent interview criticized Cam Newton's accuracy and questioned why the Carolina Panthers drafted him. In the interview with The Atlantic, Benjamin said getting drafted by the Panthers was a bad fit from the get-go, and without mentioning Newton by name, the Panthers' first-round pick in 2014.
Season, then we'll introduce Buffalo and start getting ready for our preseason games.
Tight end Greg Olson asked the same question.
Everybody feels how they feel. Obviously, matters, and people have opinions. That's just the world. It's a huge challenge. And these guys are really good. They gave us all we could handle last year in week 2. It's a lot of the same guys. So we know McDermott. We know what they want to do on defense.
He used to be the Panthers' assistant GM.
ARP North Carolina. Recently, Sham Veterans Charities are bilking patriotic donors out of millions of dollars. North Carolina fraud fighters urge you to donate wisely. Before you give, visit ncsos.gov to make sure a charity that /NC Protect. Football fix before the season kicks off with predictions from the experts, recruiting news, and rankings of the best ACC players and teams. No other magazine dedicates 10 pages to each ACC school, each jam-packed with stats and information. Want a copy shipped to you? Order your copy today by going to accsports.com and clicking on the football preview banner.
The Dodgers have regained it, leading the AL West to 4 games over Oakland. Arizona suffered a 3-2 loss to the Giants, while Oakland picked up its 6th straight win and completed a season sweep of the Tigers with a 6-0 shutout. The Red Sox completed a 4-game sweep by scoring 3 times in the 9th to claim a 5-4 win over the Yankees. The Bo Sox now lead the AL East by 9.5 games over the Bronx Bombers. The Indians 4-3 winners over the Angels, and that kept Cleveland 9 games ahead of second-place Minnesota in the AL Central. The Twins beat the Royals. Josh, Zach, NC.
Getting upon us, it's going to bring big heat to the low in the low 70s, and then tomorrow.
It's sunny this morning. This peaked behind the chance of an afternoon shower. About 40% this afternoon. That's going to be with us pretty much all this week, but it diminishes toward the weekend. Right now, again, sunny skies and 73 degrees. This is WCAB Rutherford. It's 8:30. Welcome to the Word of Faith Responds. This series of programs will address the issues concerning the negative news reports. This program is paid for by Word of Faith, and the views expressed on this program.
Again, for being with us, this is Mark Moore. I have 2 members of our church who want testimony. Kim's here with her. Never this testimony, you're going to be amazed that Kim is even sitting here talking to you with what happened in her life. So with that, we're going to turn it. You'll share with us your testimony. Here you go.
Okay. Like Mark said, I'm Kimberly Parsons. I come from Muskogee, Oklahoma. Stacy, growing up, our parents... I can remember it's real. Is it because of the trees? Is it somewhere in my life I lost hold of that. I know I was in the 6th grade the first time I did drugs. By the time I was in 9th grade, it was a daily lifestyle. It was, it controlled my life. I do know in my teenage years, through high school, one day I was at home. We lived in a 2-story house, and our bedrooms were upstairs. And I was downstairs, and I could remember hearing something upstairs, and I thought somebody had left the radio on upstairs. And so, actually, I tried to figure out what it was, and I went upstairs, and my sister was kneeling beside her bed praying. And I can remember, thinking, I wish I could pray like that. But I did not believe I could. I believed a lie of the devil that, the things that I had already done in my life, that I was already defiled and it was too late for me to be a godly person, And so the drug lifestyle continued. I believe I had my son, Cody, 6 weeks before I turned 21. And then after that, it still continued, bars, drugs, and the things I did to keep that habit up, because it's not cheap. So my mid-20s, being in the
habit started for Kim. You know, people thought we were twins to do with me. We were about God at that time, but hearted honestly about it. You know, she had me totally cut off, but there was still that place in my heart, you know, that we were joined.
So that lifestyle continued on to my 30s. Around the age of 30, my family would put pressure on me and put me in a rehab. You know, they were fighting for me when I wouldn't fight for myself, because I just was at a place where I didn't care. And I don't know how many drug rehabs I was in and out of, but I would go just to get them off my back because the pressure from my family was so great. And then finally, you know, there came a place in my heart. I was married at the time and had a home. I went to my hospital. I was there probably another 6 months with me. It's real simple. Just his house. Good. And Stacy came, that were in the church, began to help me, you know, to come to Jesus. You know, and crying out to God and turning my heart. God started putting people in my life to help me to come out of that lifestyle. It left me. I can't tell you how or when, but I know the scripture that always comes to my heart is the woman with the issue of blood, where she had, you know, had the flow of blood for 12 years and spent her life and her money going to doctors or wherever trying to get help, and nobody could help her. But when she reached out for Jesus and touched the hem of his garment, she was healed. But the Bible says that she was continually healed. And that's what God has done in my life and continues to do. I started going to the church, I think, in 1998. And here we are, 2018. That's 20 years ago. God has continually healed my life.
And you mentioned not only did you have problems with drugs since you were sixth grade, starting sixth grade, ninth grade, but you mentioned the mental hospitals. You said that you were hearing voices, yes. You had suicidal thoughts. When you started going to church, you mentioned your sisters praying for you to be free from this. How did God help you with suicidal thoughts? How did God, did that go away? You mentioned the drugs went away. How did God help you with that?
It did. God started changing the desires of my heart. When I came and started praying and crying out to God, the Bible, when I stopped going places that God didn't tell me to go to, I started closing the doors to where I allowed those voices to come. It says when the Holy Spirit comes, how to walk with him, and we were leaving. I was told, and I was talking to Sammy Miller on the
fourth, but so Sammy,
that one can hear God's voice and God's voice, because I knew on the inside God was real. I needed people. You might need to go back and just, after probably in 2002, and I just admit my heart. The fruit is in my life today. I was getting a divorce. My husband didn't want. God told me to go across the street, and God told me to go across 23 apartments in that place. So I pushed a cart and I cleaned apartments, and I learned to cook then. I had never cooked for 23 people before, and in Oklahoma then I started trying to get across the street because. Well, a friend of mine took me to Rutherford Hospital. Next day, I had given it to them so that would clean and cook, that would flow back and forth to fill the slots wherever they needed it filled. Well, God had already prepared me for that. So I stepped right into it and got the job. I finally did end up I never worked under 40 hours. It was a different mentality. But God changed my way of thinking. And I worked. I never worked under 40 hours. I put it in my heart to go to school. I don't know what to call it, but you don't think a lot of yourself. You don't think a lot of yourself. You no longer Saul. He was Paul. I cannot do that. Now I do. To me, that, and God has worked a stability in my heart that
doing drugs since your ninth grade, you're learning to know God.
Okay. Well, it's like a Baptist church that was just a few blocks of different churches. And being in and I think I tried them all. I went to all of them. And, God did use that time in my life. He did, gone down to the altar. And, the Word of God, but the one thing helped me to know you. And I did hear about a meeting in Tulsa. Went to that meeting, as I had done many times before, and I saw for the first time Dale. And whenever I went to the church in Tulsa that was changed mental hospital, but I can look back now and see how God did use that time, because it got her to a place where she could come free enough of the drugs to begin to get a hold of her will. And God could get to her heart. So all of those, things were important steps in her life. When she came out, we did spend time together, and God began to heal our relationship. Because God had to do a work in my heart. A lot of what she went through, I felt like affected me. And you can get really offended whenever you want to help someone and they turn that hand away. So God had to change my heart and deal with my heart. And that's where the love of God that was taught to me, that's still being taught, to us, where it's a true love of God, where you don't take any offense. God changed my heart. And from there, God could join us. And, I think it was probably at about that time that I became aware my parents returned to church. And I knew my parents were praying for her. And so, that's very important, fact there that, God was healing our whole family and drawing all of us to Him. And, I came to one of those seminars in North Carolina that Kim mentioned. And, I still had some hardness in my heart. And whenever I walked in the doors and I sat down for the first service, church had not started. There hadn't been one word said. There was not one song sung. I sat down and the tears just began to flow down my face because I felt the presence of God. I felt the presence of God.
You came to Word of Faith Fellowship? I came to the
Word of Faith Fellowship in Spindale for a seminar. And God got to my heart in an even deeper way. And I could let go of a lot of the hurts and wounds and offenses from life. And then, whenever I began to meet the people, I saw what it talked about, in the Word of God about those who have the shining splendor. And, they helped us. And, in 2002, I moved here with my daughter, and she attended the Word of Faith Christian School, graduated, went on to college, graduated with honors, and now, here we are, serving Jesus together. God has healed, our relationship, but He's also healed the other relationships in our family. My father since passed on, but my mom and I still share prayer requests and, let each other know what's going on in our lives. And our whole family has been touched through the ministry, through, Sam and Jane Whaley laying down their lives, giving us Jesus, teaching us there's a better way to live, helping us to know God and to walk with God. And I mean, what a treasure and what a blessing that is. And I'm so very grateful. And, if there's anyone listening who feels that there is no hope, they have no hope for their life, I'm here to tell you there is hope. God is faithful. He is faithful. If you will cry out to Him, if you will, turn your heart to Him and just open your heart, He will be right there to help you and give you what He needs. He's faithful.
He is so faithful. And as you're listening today, listeners, you are seeing two examples of God's faithfulness. I'm amazed as I was hearing the testimony, just sitting here with Kim, of how God has restored your life. I was thinking about the the situation in the scriptures where Jesus came to a certain place and there was a man so possessed by demons. They asked, "What is your name?" And the demon said, "Legion," because there's so many demons in this man. He was running around naked. He was out of his head, and no one can do anything about him. And the city could not do anything. And so Jesus came, and here it was, this man with all of these problems came and ran to Jesus and just bowed his knee, and Jesus cast the demons out of him, and he was restored in his right mind immediately. And then he was clothed, and he became this person who God meant him to be. And I was just thinking about when you shared about how God restored your life. He taught you not to listen to the voice of the devil, because the devil's there to speak to us. The devil's there to tell us crazy things like take your life. And you were learning, and God was teaching you to listen to God's voice. You know, when God speaks to us, it always brings peace, it always brings joy and happiness. When the devil speaks to us, it's just the opposite. It always brings torment, it always brings confusion, and you were learning that. And the other thing I love when you both shared was how, Stacy, you never let go of your sister, but you prayed for her and prayed for her all of those years, and God put it in your heart. And that's such a testimony. That's a testimony for maybe people listening, that you have family members that are going through difficult times. But God wants us to pray and believe God for their lives, because God is able to restore people. So what a wonderful testimony today. We thank you again for listening. This is Word of Faith Fellowship, and we are here Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 8:30 to 9. I hope that you will continue listening. Thank you.
This hour for the former Trump campaign chair, Paul Manafort, accused of hiding millions from the IRS. ABC's Ali Rogan says prosecutors are about halfway through their list of witnesses.
They heard from former Manafort colleagues as well as from vendors who made